Welcome to the inaugural episode of RV Lounge. This is Vandana, the captainess of RV Solutions, and your host for today. Since this is the inaugural episode, let me give you a brief of how RV Lounge came into being and what is it. In one of the meetings, internal meetings, one of the person just commented that would not it be great idea to have industry experts sharing their knowledge and regularly so that we can get those insights. This made us think and we thought, why not? Since we have been in the industry for quite some time, we would have access to the industry experts and getting them and making them share their experiences, their lifelines, their life stories, their anecdotes, and a tadka of some of their personal stories. Why not start with that? And that is how the RV Lounge came into being. And for this inaugural episode, we have a personality, a seasoned professional, a serial entrepreneur, a mentor, and a person who sold his companies, actually not one company, two companies, to the likes of Flipkart and Walmart. A seasoned professional with the experience of more than 2 decades. So we present Shammi Moza.
So thank you, Vandana. Thank you for inviting me this inaugural launch meet. It is my pleasure always talking to you. I look forward to interacting with you.
Thank you so much. Shammi ji, you are a product of NIT Srinagar, and even I am a product of NIT. Somehow, this after-sales services is not really heard of, in NITs. In NITs, we talk about big companies and interesting, different products. So, how did you came into this line, after-sales services? And even that was a long time back.
Yeah, so I was always fascinated by computers. I still remember we had a campus selection by Moody's Rocks in our campus in Srinagar. So we got 8 people got selected, and I was the topper in that. And I was called to Delhi for an interview. And out of this 8, I was the only one who wasn't selected. And the reason was that I showed my interest towards computers, So, and this always kept at the back of my mind that what I'm looking for is not aligned with my expectations, So I started looking around, and I got an opportunity to work for a company who was in this space. And primarily, somehow I always liked repairing things, I thought this is one area where probably I should get into it.
Wow, that's an interesting thing. So from that, you started one of your companies, RT Outsourcing, and then to solar, and then back to this line where you created something which you sold again, and now you are mentoring some startups again into life cycle products. So it's a very interesting journey. Could you share something? Actually more details of how this journey has been all about.
Sure. Yeah, it's very exciting, Actually, I became an entrepreneur by coincidence.
Oh.
So I started my job as a service engineer. I was the youngest manager. I worked with companies like Blue Star and CMC. CMC used to be a public undertaking.
Right. Our times.
Yes, true. So while working with these companies, HP was one of my major customers. I did a lot of things for HP. The management team of HP came back to me. They said, we have an opportunity for you. We want to outsource a project to you. I didn't understand outsourcing at all at that time, So it took me a while to understand what was expected from me. So I had a couple of meetings with the management team of HP. I agreed to do this project with a rider that they will invest on the project, So because I had no money, because as you know that we are people who have been thrown out of the valley, So that time my family had come, we had no funds to support the business,
Right.
So while interacting with the first project was refurbishment of digital or inkjet printers. The idea was that HP worldwide had a policy of a unit level replacement, So if there is a problem in the product, you will get a replacement product. They will not repair the product. So they asked me to set up this refurbishment facility. So we created this facility in Okla. This product had a mechanical assembly which needed alignment, and they needed a special tools also. So we could have those tools only in the centralized repair facility. Unfortunately, this project did not do well. I felt the reasons were primarily customers were too attached to the product. They didn't wanted the unit level replacement at that time. Surprising, they wanted the product to be repaired instead of getting a replacement.
Interesting.
And second, logistics at that time still was a challenge. So your turnaround time was very high, and the damages were very, very high. So I suggested to HP that why don't we look India as a different region or a territory, and I proposed to them that let's start having 5 SKUs for the same product. The big challenge for them was their system never supported that. The system had only unit level replacement option. So I worked with them, created a patchwork, and we created 5 SKUs for that particular product. So what happened is the mechanical assembly, which needed special tools, we were able to get into the centralized facility, whereas the rest of the products we were replacing in the field itself.
Oh, interesting.
So this product really worked well. So HP got a lot of confidence on us.
It became your fan, huh?
So they started writing more and more products under the refurbishment. In fact, they gave me an opportunity to visit some of the best outsourced partners they had in US, Singapore. So this also helped me to get some of the best practices from them. One more thing I realized by working with HP is that they are very, very quality conscious. So when we were 5 people, I started having ESI, PF, ISO, and all the certifications in place. I think that was one of the reasons why a lot of confidence was shown by HP towards RT. So with refurbishment, HP had an opportunity of managing the in-source service centers. So we started managing their in-source service centers. Again, the performance met their expectations, and they asked us if we can handle the complete outsourcing of the service centers also. They also had an in-source contact center, which they used to call it the technical support center. Again, we started with in-source first, and then based on the confidence which they got, they outsourced the complete contact center to us.
Wow.
In fact, our CSAT or NPS score were one of the best in the Asia and Europe.
Awesome. This is amazing.
And in fact, that was the key driver for them to keep on adding business.
What year are we talking about?
We started in 95, like RT Outsourcing was born in 95, and this happened in 98, 99, when we had the...
It's like 3-4 years of journey.
That's all. Contact center also with us. At that stage, we had about 1,200 people just working for HP.
Whoa. This is huge.
So,
huge.
With this, we felt that we are creating an ecosystem where we could handle everything after the product was sold in India. So we started adding new clients, improved our customer experience, improved our revenue and profitability. We had customers like Compaq, IBM, Toshiba, Micromax, working for us.
So this is all IT equipment.
Yeah, IT equipment and communications also. We work with Nokia, Ericsson on the BTS part of it. Business, on the BTS part of the business.
Right. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, on the BTS part of the business. So I was able to create a lot of leaders during this whole journey, and some of them actually are well placed today across the industry. This company also got funding from CB Venture Fund, Canback Venture Fund, Motilal Oswal, and NEA. At one stage, I realized the direction of the company was not aligned with what I wanted to do. So I decided to exit out of the company. So I went into a solar space. I wanted to be an SI in the solar space. Miserably failed. Lost money also. Primarily, I feel I was too early for that market. Also, government was the only customer. The main criteria at that time was being L1 and not the quality of the product which you supplied at that stage.
And you came from the quality background.
So it didn't gel at all what I was trying to do. So I had to shut down that business. A friend of mine had a distribution arm. As part of the distribution arm, he had a small service setup. So he requested me if I could support and streamline the services in that setup. While doing that, we realized that we could spin off it into a separate company. So that is where F1 Info Solution Services Private Limited got formed.
Just
using all the previous experience, again we started scaling this business. We were again one of the leading partners in the country and the preferred partners. Both in RT Outsourcing and F1, we were always one of the largest in our category and one of the preferred partners for all the brands in India. In fact, the ecosystem which we created allowed new companies which were coming to India not to worry anything once the product was sold. because like I said, we could provide end-to-end services to them. In both the companies, RT Outsourcing as well as F1, we created our own CRM to manage end-to-end life cycle of any product. In 2017, Flipkart was looking at a partner who could handle the refurbishment of mobiles. That's how they approached F1.
So here you were doing both the
Again,
the field work as well as the refurbishment.
Yes, F1 again we were doing contact center, walk-in service centers, field services, refurbishment. Even we had started a little bit on the e-waste front also.
And what were the products here?
Product mobility, IT, consumer electronics. So we had added consumer electronics by that time. While evaluating F1, Flipkart realized that we had a very strong relationship with the brands. Plus the refurbishment facility. So that is how they seriously looked at an acquisition of F1 happened. As part of this acquisition, I was supposed to spend 2 years with Flipkart. During my 2.5 years which I spent with Flipkart, I was heading the business of Jeeves and F1 there. So I integrated these two companies in Flipkart, strengthened Flipkart by having a strategic mode of differentiated customer service, increased revenue and profitability for the categories. So I created products like VAS, which was a direct profit to the categories. In fact, I created one of the largest refurbishment center for them in Noida, which had a capacity of 1.5 lakh phones a month.
Oh.
I put a lot of efforts on creating new product solves there, which will handle scale and growth, because F1 and Jeeves was also growing at a very fast pace. We were growing at 150% growth year to year.
150, you said?
Yeah, 150%. Oh. So when I joined Flipkart, we had a revenue of about 160 crores. When I left that, then we had a revenue of about 600 plus crores.
Oh, 2 years, 2.5 years.
2.5 years. So I pushed them for this new product solves. Demonstrated this scale of execution, and with very good customer experience. In fact, the CEO awarded us as the Customer Excellence Award during the BBD 18 also.
Oh.
So in 2020, I decided to come out of Flipkart, became a consultant. So my first assignment was with Imagine Marketing, which has a brand called Boat. They were also in a growing stage, a lot of processes and systems were not in place, So I helped them in establishing the customer experience piece and the reverse logistics, I continued to be consultant to companies in the third-party service providers.
I know.
In our e-commerce, we call our commerce, video commerce, manufacturing. I also have invested and advisor to some of the early stage growth companies.
Awesome.
This is what has been my journey so far.
Great. Great from one company, creating one, creating second, creating third. Yeah, interesting. And now helping these small companies to grow. And especially, what I've seen, with the startup thing. They have a lot of enthusiasm and everything. And what they really need is that kind of, what we call in Therav, the kind of how to scale. That is what is the struggle is with them. Anyways, we will talk about that a little more later. So when you had been the pioneer in the life cycle management, as you said, what were the challenges? Like, this was long time back. I'm sure there was a lot of logistically challenges or the governance or I don't know. What were the challenges that you faced in that time?
I would say there was no ease of doing business. So like you said, logistics was definitely a big challenge. Turnaround times were pathetic. The reach was pathetic, and you had a limited 3 service providers in the country, supporting your whole movement of material. Also, brands did not allow us to go for competitors. This was another big challenge. Like I said, we had about 1,200, 1,300 people working for HP. They were reluctant us for supporting the other brands. Otherwise, I think RT will have not left any brand. If this pressure will have not been coming from those brands.
So all thanks to HP that we guys are existing.
Because everybody used to approach RT first, before they could explore any partner in the country. And also the brands did not want to put everything in one basket. Like I said, all these big brands, though we had a complete end-to-end life cycle, these big brands were not comfortable giving everything to one partner. Whereas the companies, the new companies which were trying to come into India, they were able to give us end-to-end solution. I think these were some of the, like also you said, the legal compliances were very, very tough. Even there was a lot of confusion whether a service center needs a factory license or a shop and establishment licenses.
That still exists.
Yeah, and even getting a shop and establishment used to take 6 months. So expansion was completely very, very difficult.
And since this was a nascent industry, I would say at that point, how is it about skilling? How was it? I mean, for the people, wasn't it tough to have that kind of mindset where people had that service kind of a thing in place? Because this needed a military kind of operation, right? TAT, there is a TAT, there is a customer service, customer experience, right? We're talking about that.
Yeah, I agree. I think there were no skill development centers that time, So what we did from a very early stage, we created our own training team. So this training was of two types. One was, like you said, creating training for the factory people, people who are on the masses, and one was for the managers, the key team identified for the growth of the organization. So this was handled internally as well as externally. So we always had identified at any given amount of 40 or 50 leaders, who could be going through this internal and external course. Whereas there were a lot of training programs for the rest of the people. So I think what we as a company had an advantage is that we had the internal school, which was churning people for us. In fact, I miss telling you that we had a training institute also under the name Gurukul in RT. We had about 14 or 15 centers across the country where we used to hire people who were not able to get a job. These are all engineers, but not able to get a job. So we used to train them so that they can be employable.
So yeah, okay, it works, right?
Yeah.
And then they would stay with you, right? The stay would be longer, right? Great. And how do you think the industry has changed in this last 2.5 decades?
See, the business size has grown exponentially.
Yes, absolutely.
So much of business. Like you said, logistics has improved. You have many service partners today. Your turnaround time has improved.
It's crazy, actually.
Nice. You can get in 10 minutes and 15 minutes also. In our times, we used to say 7 days or 5 days.
Absolutely.
So there's a lot of difference, in that. See, the quality of the products has improved, which means, which is not good for us because our AFRs have come down, annual failure rates have come down. And also, I feel, the relationship between the OEM and the partners has reduced, especially the Chinese companies. Too many small partners, have impacted the pricing, which is making it very tough to make money.
Yes.
I think these are the changes which I see over a period of time has happened in this industry.
Sing is king, but I think in your lingo, the customer delight, the customer experience. I mean, major of our conversations you have always told me that customer pe dhyan do, customer experience has to be the great experience. So how did you ensure that in your
See, my approach has been very simple, and this is what I tell every employee, is that customer is always right. See, if you do not go with that philosophy, it's very, very difficult to reach to the customer experience where we were in both the companies. So I remember there was a customer where we had an OEM products installed, and there was a regular failure in these products. The OEM actually replaced those products a couple of times, so they said we have done enough for them in terms of making sure that the product works. And my team had made multiple visits and always come back and saying that it's a customer handling issue. So this case was very escalated to the highest management with the OEM. The customer was very unhappy with our services. He was forcing the OEM to change the partner. In fact, they were in the process of giving some more business, and they had started looking at competitors. So I happened to visit this customer along with my team, The only difference I went is I felt whatever customer is saying is right, So I never went the approach whether it's a product issue or it's basically the handling issue, So I suggested to the customer if we could have our team deployed there for next 2 weeks to help them during the failure rates, so that in the meantime we find a solution for them. After a week's time, my team comes back and tells me that the problem is solved. So I asked what was the reason. They said we feel there was a leakage in the ground current. That was the main culprit of the problem. Fortunately for us, the customer had gained some confidence on us, especially seeing that we went extra mile.
Right. Deploying your team for a week.
For two weeks. We are committed for 2 weeks, so they came back for after 5 days. And OEM was ready to get their next order. And I think the learning the complete team was that if we go with this notion that it's a customer issue, instead of saying that customer is right. So I always say customer is right. Listen to customer. I think that has helped me to gain whatever respect I have gained in this industry.
Awesome. Okay, so again, I'll come back to how is industry behaving in terms of course, the growth is exponential. But if I connect it with the customer experience, how would you think the growth of industry has it improved the customer experience? Has it deteriorated the customer experience since the margins are less? Are we, are we, because of the cost cutting, are we playing with that?
So I think...
kind of dichotomy we have, like the cost and the services rendered.
See, overall the customer experience has definitely improved. What's happening is customer expectations are also changing.
Important.
So, the good thing what I have seen what is happening is we are trying to find a right balance between the price and the customer experience. Like you said, today you may have to pay a price for a 15 days delivery than paying a price for a 1 hour delivery. So you are trying to differentiate. So I think this evolution is really, really helping us in terms of setting the right expectation with the customer. Otherwise, I think customer expectations will keep on growing and they will like to have the best of the class of the services at the least cost. So overall, I see the customer experience has improved as compared to when we started our journey.
Okay, somewhere I feel that because the customer expectations have really gone above the roof, it's always feels that pehle acha hota tha.
No, like I said, I think, like I said,
it's a lot of pressure to deliver. It's a lot of expense to deliver, because if you are delivering the same service in 2 hours, which was 7 days, I mean, look at the kind of cost the brands or even the third-party people have to, incur.
No, I agree with you, because I think things have also changed. Like there's a lot of automation which has happened today. A lot of technology tools are available which can help you to do things faster than what was possible long back. Also, like you rightly said, today since the quantum of the business has grown, the volume of the business has grown. So probably I think if you make, like I keep on saying, is if you have to have a right balance between the cost and customer experience, I think you still can make money out of this business.
Okay. Actually, my next question was something, so you have been a player yourself in this field, and now with the mentoring and the investment in being an investor in this industry, any pearls of wisdom that you want to share with today's players, especially the after sales services people?
So I think we discussed this also. I think we do not have a common platform today for service providers. That's very unfortunate part. The only platform is the competition.
That is actually not a platform.
So, like I was sharing with you, there's an organization called Reverse Logistics Organization, which is headquartered in USA. It's a forum where third-party service providers, OEMs, ODMs, brands, and retail customers come together. In fact, they have 3 conferences, yearly conferences, one in USA, Las Vegas, one in Holland, and they used to have in Singapore. They're just, I think after COVID, they are not having that one. The idea was to share some of the best practices. The idea was to share some of the concerns.
both with OEMs, ODMs, and brands. The idea was also to understand their concerns. So I think this is one area where I feel we are missing in India. In fact, 10 years back, I had tried to get reverse logistics in India. We tried to create a chapter in India also. In fact, we had fixed a date for exhibition also. Because of some legal issues, it didn't take off. So I think this is one area where we need to definitely work on.
So what you are suggesting is like there is something in US. Let's have a camaraderie here. Let's have in the shape of forum or association where at least this can be really looked into, especially with this growing industry. As you said, it has really gone up. Too many players now. So some sort of association can definitely help. It was an interesting idea when you shared it with me.
Just to add also, like today there will be a lot of concerns which will be common concerns across the service providers.
Absolutely.
Maybe today we are individually approaching brands or OEMs or ODMs, but if we collectively approach, probably I feel things can work much better the way today they're working.
Absolutely. Coming back to how you did mention that, but do you believe that the relationship between the brands and the after sales of third party providers has that deteriorated? I mean, you do really talk about HP with good relationship. They really took good care. They were very supportive and respect was something.
I definitely feel that respect is not there, which used to be there 10 years back. And probably play more to do with Chinese companies than anything else. I remember at one time all my customers wanted to make sure that I make money out of the business, because they felt that that's the only way they could have customer experience. So definitely yes, it has deteriorated. That is why I feel it's more important to have a common forum where probably we as partners also raise our concerns, which is impacting not only the partners, which is impacting the customers also.
Yeah, finally the customer gets impacted because of the poor service or lack in service. Correct. Right? The brand also gets impacted. Correct. Right. So you created 2 companies and sold these 2 companies when the startup culture wasn't even heard of, right? So what was so special there? You did mention some, but you would like to hear more on what was so special that you were picked up for, acquisition. I mean, there were many companies right there. There were maybe in RT times there was lesser of them, but F1 even I was there, right? So, yeah.
So, like I said, we always believed that we have to be ahead of the competition. So our bar was that we have to be much ahead of anybody else in the market. So that was definitely at the back of the mind for us. I felt that one of the key reasons for us was our key management team. The quality of the people which we had, the only reason they will leave us if a brand offered a job to them. And we felt that was a progress path for them. So my feeling is why we were picked in both the cases was because of our people, because I feel an organization like us, the only thing which we sell is skills, and skill comes from people. So my personal feeling is in both the cases, I think the investors...
It was the people which were acquired rather than anything else. Okay. But so for you it was important to, as you said, to carve out their career path so that they also knew that they would be growing. So that is where people would stick to you, because that is that the reason? Or
yeah, I still meet a lot of my people from RT. They said whatever time they spent in RT was one of the best times. Sometimes I wonder why it is, because the salaries that time were too low. Properly, I don't know whether I was treating to them rightly also. But I think it was primarily to do with more with the culture. So the culture which we had created like a family there, like I was sharing with you, we used to have a yearly meet, and this used to be a cultural meet. And we used to have this cultural meet in an auditorium where we had 400, 500 people coming together, performing our own people performing, coming along with their families. And this was every year which was happening. We also had an RT club where our key management and the extended families had at least one picnic once in a quarter. So there was a lot of bonding between the people. So I feel the culture which we created both in RT and F1 really helped us to retain talent.
Yeah, okay, so I'll quote a couple of people I could talk to who are still connected to you from your first company. So the adjectives they have used, and just quoting them, he's an institute in himself, he's a professional, he's kind, he's generous, and he's very simple, great leader, very humble, and the list went on. I just cut it off. I said it will be too much of me to read, but yeah, this is what people have really quoted for you. Really respect you for that. I really need to learn about this little more, but that would be some conversation I'll have this, beyond this. Coming back to the industry. So, what's something about the industry that is surprising you lately? Is there anything else?
Since especially we're talking about service partners, I feel one good thing is happening. I have seen partners saying no to the business. If it's not making sense. So I think for a change, I'm so happy and relieved there's something like this is happening.
Yeah, people have to start to learn no. Right, everywhere, even in business. What's something everybody in this industry should stop or start doing? Both. I mean, either they should stop doing or they should start doing. Start doing, you just said, I think we can start saying no.
Yeah, maybe they don't need to compete on the price,
Yeah, so I don't know how that would change.
They need to come together, So frankly, I don't know what else they can do, but I personally believe that we should not start fighting each other on a price basis.
Yeah, that can help the industry with with the margins really going low. Yes. If you were sitting next to the leading expert in your field, so what would you ask them?
Respect the service partners. Since we're talking about service partners today, I think it's important that they should have a respect for service partners.
Okay. So now you have been mentoring people like 25 years now, and now you have been a consultant again, mentoring a lot of people, including me. Now you're mentoring startups. Do you also have a mentor or a role model?
Yes, I also had a mentor with the name called Shashi Ulal. Shashi Ulal retired as the chairman of Hugh Scott's Communication Limited. He was the guy who got IBM in India. Then he worked with DCM. He worked with Modi Already. He worked with Blue Star. He was a boss for me in Blue Star. A couple of things I learned, which I still remember, is one is he always remembered people with the first name. So he will never call anybody with the surname, or never will call anybody without a name. Second was the time management.
Oh.
So he normally used to come to Delhi office, and I was the youngest manager in that building. So he will come to my desk. He says, Shammi, he will come at 7:30 in the evening. He will say, Shammi, come, let's have a round of this building. This was a 3-floor building, And we just walk and come down. He says, see, all these managers, they're all working very hard. See, these guys have not done anything from 10 to 7. Now
they're working.
So what will happen is they will go home by 9.
So you have been mentoring people from beginning as employers, and then you mentored a lot of other people, even I was there, and now you're mentoring startups. Do you also have a mentor or an industry role model?
Yes, I also have a mentor. In fact, I used to have a mentor. He passed away a couple of years back.
Sorry to hear that.
His name was Shashi Ulal. He retired as the chairman of Hugh Scott Communication Limited. He was the person who was instrumental in getting DCM in India. IBM in India. He worked with companies like DCM, Modi Already, Blue Star before joining Hughes. And I worked with him in Blue Star. Couple of things which comes to my mind which I remember is he always used to remember people by first name. He will never call a person if he doesn't know his name. Second, time management. And there are many other areas where I had a lot of learning from him, but I think these are two things which really I carry even today.
So what about time management?
So, I still remember he used to come to Delhi. I was one of the youngest managers in that building, and he will come to me around 7 o'clock in the evening and say, Shammi, let's go have a round of this building, And this was a 3-floor building, and we will go have a round and come back. He says, see, all these managers, even working at 7, now they're working very hard. They never planned the day. What happens is, they will go home by 9:30. Their family will be pissed off, they will be pissed off, and the cycle will continue. So that's one area where probably I felt that time management is very, very important in life. In fact, in both in RT and F1, I always advised people, not to sit late till 9, 10, but to better plan their day.
Great insight, great thought for actually everybody, great. Coming to this interesting thing, so I'm so lucky to have him as my husband. This is what your wife said to me when I reached out to her. I was, of course, I did call her for some masala there, but nothing came out, and she was full of praises. Again, she had those ejectors. He's very humble, very simple, and I'm sure a lot of people there want to know the secret. How can a wife really praise the husband? Please, can you throw some light on that?
If she has said this, I am then lucky to have her as a wife.
Oh, that's so sweet. That's so sweet. And what is Shammi beyond the work front?
I watch TV, a lot of TV.
Seriously?
Yeah, I watch a lot of Netflix. And always look forward for exploring nature.
So do you travel? How do you explore nature?
Yeah, so whenever I travel, I will travel where I can explore nature.
Great. And what do you watch on Netflix?
Everything from history, movies, serials, everything.
I was surprised to know you're a movie geek. I could never, with the kind of personality you had, it just did not gel.
And my famous actor was Jackie Chan.
Seriously?
Yeah, so I watched his every movie.
Oh, great. Do you have any regrets in life?
On a professional front, I thought I wanted to exit out of a company which was above 1,000 crores. So I was able to scale, I was not able to scale to a level where I will have that satisfaction moment.
Would you try again?
Very tough, but given an opportunity, why not?
Oh, interesting. We'll have a quick rapid fire, so just a creator of 2 companies, part of a very big company, I'm talking about Jeeves, F1 actually, and then mentor 2 startups. Which role is close to your heart?
See, when you are creating companies, it's like a baby to you. So you are always attached to your babies. So F1 and RT.
That's that. So, but RT Outsourcing or F1 Info Solutions?
Both of them, equal.
Seriously, no favorite?
No.
RT was the first one. The first one is close to the heart, no closer.
No, if you have 2 kids.
So you did say you watch a lot of movies. So Mission Impossible or Pathaan?
Mission Impossible.
Okay. Beach or mountains?
Mountains.
Favorite destination to travel?
South Africa.
South Africa. Specific thing? The parks? National parks?
National parks plus again animals.
I also know you are a foodie. This is what I also came to know. So what is your soul food?
Rice mutton.
Rice mutton, okay. And what is it which you would not be caught dead doing? Anything you just...
Never cheat a customer.
Cheat a customer. Last question. What is the one big takeaway you want our listeners to get from this episode?
Like I always said that customer experience has been very, very close to my heart. So one thing I always say that always go with the belief that customer is right. Second, especially on the third-party services, like I was keep on saying that there has to be a common platform where probably both challenges as well as successes can be shared.
Great. Thank you so much, Shammi. Thank you so much for taking out your precious time and being here. And this is our inaugural episode, and it's we really are looking forward to a bigger show. Thank you so much. Really appreciate this.
Thank you, Vandana. Thank you for calling me for this first episode, and all the best to RV Solutions.
Thank you so much. And to the listeners who were here with us the whole time, thank you so much for seeing the whole thing. And we would really want more. We will try to bring more industry leaders here to give you insights, to be able to share their experiences. So hope to catch you soon. Thank you so much. Till we meet again. This is Vandana signing off. Thank you.